Welcome to our Trump briefing program. Today, we dive into the controversial SAVE Act, which is raising alarms about its potential to disenfranchise vulnerable groups, including transgender individuals and married women. Critics argue that requiring proof of citizenship could create significant barriers to voting, while supporters claim it aims to protect election integrity. The debate is heating up as the bill heads to the Senate. In other news, Arkansas and Indiana are making headlines for their proposals to ban soda and candy from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. While the governors of both states aim to promote healthier eating among low-income participants, critics warn that such restrictions could unfairly target specific populations without clear evidence of improved health outcomes. The path to implementing these changes remains uncertain, requiring congressional approval. Lastly, a federal judge has dismissed a contempt case against an ICE agent who faced criticism for an arrest made during a trial. This decision has sparked discussions about due process rights and the impact of such arrests on the judicial system. As we navigate through these complex issues, we encourage you to stay tuned for more detailed coverage on today's pressing topics. Yahoo US reports on the SAVE Act, a proposed legislation that aims to require proof of citizenship for voter registration, which could significantly disenfranchise many Americans, particularly transgender individuals and married women. The bill mandates that individuals present documents, such as a birth certificate or passport, to register, posing challenges for those who have undergone name changes due to marriage or gender transition. The act is framed as a measure to prevent non-citizen voting, despite evidence suggesting such occurrences are exceedingly rare. Critics, including LGBTQ+ advocacy groups and Democratic lawmakers, argue that the bill creates unnecessary barriers and undermines the democratic process, especially for those who already face difficulties in proving their citizenship. The Toronto Star discusses the recent moves by Arkansas and Indiana to request permission from the USDA to ban soda and candy from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders stated that the initiative is designed to promote healthier eating among the 350,000 residents relying on SNAP. The proposed restrictions would eliminate sugary drinks and candy from eligible purchases, with supporters arguing it will redirect focus towards nutritious food. However, anti-hunger advocates oppose these changes, arguing that they infringe on the autonomy of low-income individuals and lack empirical support showing that SNAP participants are more likely to buy unhealthy foods than other low-income Americans. In a separate article from the Toronto Star, a federal judge dismissed a contempt case against an ICE agent who arrested a man outside a Boston courthouse, stirring controversy over the legality of such actions. The judge had previously ruled that the arrest violated the defendant's rights to a fair trial. However, the U.S. District Judge's dismissal was supported by the Massachusetts Attorney General, who emphasized the necessity of federal agents performing their duties without interference. Critics of the arrest argue that it undermines the judicial process, while the Justice Department maintains that the ICE agents acted within their legal authority. This case highlights the ongoing tensions between federal immigration enforcement and local judicial processes, especially under the current administration's policies. The Toronto Star reports on a significant international conference held in London aimed at addressing the dire humanitarian crisis in Sudan, 2 years after the outbreak of civil war. With tens of thousands dead and millions displaced, the conference saw pledges from Britain and the European Union amounting to hundreds of millions of dollars to alleviate suffering. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy emphasized the need for patient diplomacy to achieve peace, acknowledging the long road ahead. Despite the absence of Sudanese representatives, the conference focused on humanitarian aid rather than peace negotiations, highlighting the urgent need to protect civilians and facilitate aid delivery amidst ongoing violence. The Toronto Star also covers the Canadian government's response to U.S. tariffs impacting the auto industry, announcing that automakers maintaining production in Canada will receive tariff exemptions. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne revealed that companies could import a limited number of U.S.-assembled vehicles free of retaliatory tariffs, a move aimed at bolstering the integrated North American auto sector. As tensions rise due to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs, which threaten to disrupt manufacturing and increase vehicle prices, the Canadian government is taking steps to support local businesses and ensure resilience in the face of trade challenges. The Toronto Star highlights a warning issued by the Canadian Association of University Teachers regarding non-essential travel to the United States for academic staff. Citing the current political climate under the Trump administration, the association advises caution, particularly for those from countries with strained relations with the U.S., or individuals whose research may conflict with the administration's views. Reports of Canadians facing difficulties at the border, including potential detention, have led to a marked decrease in cross-border travel. The association urges academics to be vigilant about their electronic devices and sensitive information when crossing into the U.S., reflecting the heightened scrutiny travelers may encounter. The Toronto Star reports that Honda is contemplating moving some of its auto production from Canada to the U.S. due to tariffs imposed by President Trump. The Nikkei newspaper indicated that Honda aims to produce 90% of the cars sold in the U.S. locally to avoid a hefty 25% penalty on imports. Premier Doug Ford quickly refuted these claims, stating he had spoken with Honda Canada's president, who would clarify the situation. Ford emphasized that Honda is currently operating at full capacity in the U.S. and is committed to expanding its Canadian operations, which includes a $15 billion investment in electric vehicle and battery manufacturing, promising to create at least 1,000 new jobs in Ontario. Yahoo US highlights the struggles of Michigan parents of students with disabilities as they navigate a backlog of civil rights cases that have been stalled since the Trump administration made significant cuts to the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights. Sherry King, a mother fighting for educational support for her son George, is one of many parents feeling hopeless as they await updates on their cases. With the closure of regional offices and layoffs of staff, the enforcement of civil rights protections has been severely compromised, leaving families uncertain about the future of their children's education. Advocates express concern that the backlog will only grow, and many parents are left without options, feeling abandoned by the system meant to protect their children's rights. The Independent details a candid moment between Washington Post columnist Josh Rogan and Piers Morgan, where Rogan admitted he could be fired for criticizing his paper's owner, Jeff Bezos, in a manner similar to his recent criticism of Bill Maher's dinner with Trump. Rogan expressed his discomfort with the idea of engaging with Trump, while Morgan pressed him on Bezos's past actions that seemed to align with Trump. Rogan carefully navigated the conversation, stating he is not privy to the ownership decisions at the Post, and emphasized the personal calculations each individual must make when engaging with the current administration. His reluctance to criticize Bezos highlighted the complexities of journalistic integrity in an era where ownership influences editorial direction, leaving Rogan in a precarious position as he tries to maintain his professional standing. The Independent reports on a heated exchange involving former President Trump and Harvard University, where Trump threatened to strip the institution of its tax-exempt status after it resisted his administration's demands, resulting in a freeze of $2.3 billion in funding. This move drew condemnation from former President Obama, who labeled it unlawful and ham-handed. In a separate controversial remark, Trump expressed a desire to deport American citizens deemed homegrown criminals to prisons in El Salvador, a statement made shortly after a meeting with the country's president. Meanwhile, the Trump administration faces criticism for its handling of immigration cases, highlighted by the plight of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was improperly deported. In a related context, Trump suggested that income from tariffs could potentially replace income tax, reflecting his ongoing focus on trade issues. The situation is further complicated by tensions with the EU over tariffs, as both sides seek to define their positions amidst escalating trade conflicts. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning coffee, fresh off the press. Reading headlines, feeling blessed. World keeps turning, stories unfold. Every moment, news gets told. Flipping channels, clicking tabs. Feeding my mind's hunger grabs. Facts go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks into dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough.